Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees were quiet around the trade deadline, which I kind of predicted, but a lot of noise around the Yankee organization. Domingo Germán carted off for the team, going to check into an alcohol treatment center, whatever, so kind of shocking there. So I'm going to get into all that, and this is all while the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 in an important series against Tampa Bay, and again, it's pretty much kissing away the AL East there, so we'll get into all that, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So there's an audio version of the podcast available. Get these little wrap-up reports and other cool things. I'm sure you saw or heard the Fred McGriff episode, even though it has nothing to do with the Yankees. Again, get cool little things like that that only available for you podcast subscribers. And just put the audio of my appearance with the Bronx Muchachos crew the other day. Again, went on with them live Tuesday night as the trade deadline was winding down and ended. And, we kind of all went around with that. And we celebrated it was actually their 100th episode, and of course, we talked a little bit about that, but of course, we talked about the kind of sleepy trade deadline for the Yankees there, so that's also available, an audio version of that show. It's just looking up and down the list. I'm sure you see it there. So all the cool stuff, make sure you subscribe. And, just piling it on here, dropped the most recent YouTube channel where I kind of did a deeper dive into the Yankee trade deadline, which is was a non-trade deadline. It pretty much didn't do anything, which I kind of expected. So I don't want to beat it too much right here, right now. If you want to get more analysis on that, go to the YouTube episode, again, about the empty Yankee trade deadline. You can catch my take on that. Again, in case you didn't know, I'm sure you know, Yankees bringing in 2 kind of lowly relievers that, who knows if they're going to be with the team or, you don't really know much about them. One, Kenyon Middleton from the Chicago White Sox. Again, has a little ERA under 4, nothing wow. And he becomes a free agent after the season, so it's just called like a rental for 2 months. Okay. Again, the 4 areas I thought Cashman would at least try to improve this team with would be left field, because we haven't had a stable left field all season, a legitimate everyday full third baseman, which kind of went out the window with Donaldson, and his calf. And I know the Yankees been rotating guys now like IKF and DJ and stuff like that, but still like an everyday third baseman. I thought maybe you see someone catch it just for the fact that Trevino went down for the rest of the season. And then, of course, a bullpen arm, which he's always going to throw a bullpen on an arm in there too. So that's kind of only what he stuck with. So I brought in Middleton as well as Spencer Howard for cash consideration from Texas. And he's a guy with a ballooned ERA of 10. And they put him immediately into AAA. And you may see him sometimes this season, maybe not. It's just all the various reasons. Sometimes people like to scout other players on other teams, and you just get an affection for them for some reason. You think you see something, you could convert them, and so you bring them over here. Kind of what they did with Clay Holmes like 2 seasons ago, and then now that worked out. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it worked out, but they're kind of nothing moves. But the Yankees didn't pull the big trigger here, just because mainly what I said. If you go back, the previous episode solo by myself, this team, Cashman, I don't think gave this team the right to improve. I mean, they're sitting there in the 5th place in the AL East. They're like 10 games back. So I don't think he was going to go full out. You weren't going to get a big move like a Soto. And, of course, they took Ohtani off the board. Now, it seemed like maybe it could have been Bellinger, could have been, perhaps an opportunity. But the fact that the Cubs, got onto a little bit of a streak there, and they were only 5 games out of the NL Central, they probably decided, no, they're going to go for it, and held on to Bellinger. So who knows if he was available. And, so there was really nothing for the Yankees to do. I mean, you would need like 4 or 5 big players to come here to really turn this whole offense around, and they're just not doing that, because you have to like almost get rid of DJ, get rid of Rizzo, get rid of Stan, and then bring in like 3 or 4 guys to replace them. And that's just not happening, because you can't unload those contracts. So at best you're going to bring in a bat, but even a bat, is that going to make much of a difference? Probably not. So I just think the fact that, look, they got Judge back. They figure, all right, we got Judge back. We got Rondon on there. I know he's been up and down a little bit. Let's get him rolling a little bit. We got Nestor Cortez as well as Loizaga just around the corner. And that way, that's like adding pieces to his team in a way. And let's just roll with that and hope, we could dig our way into one of the wild card spots, because you have to pretty much count the AL East out, especially after the, dropping 2 out of 3 from Tampa. So that was that drama. Of course, losing to Tampa, the first 2 games just went out with a whimper. Rendon pitched well against the Mets, but now he had a little bit of setback here against Tampa. But really, the Yankee offense gave him nothing to work with. Previous game, this was the more bizarre one, because Domingo Germán was slated to start, was a late-minute scratch, and then they had to call up Johnny Brito. And he's like, oh, what's going on here? So Brito got knocked around, gave up like 5 runs in 4 innings. So they bring all of a sudden you look and you see Germán warming up. Like, wait a second. I thought he was out for this game. What is he doing warming up? Warms up, he comes in. He actually was great. 5 innings of shutout baseball, just gave up 2 hits, 5 strikeouts. So like, what happened here? Why didn't he start the game? So first you got the report that, well, he had some lumps under his armpit there, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not. Again, supposedly not using some good deodorant, or maybe he had body had an allergic reaction to this. As I mentioned in the YouTube episode, I kind of joked around about it. I had a similar problem. I remember back like maybe a little after college or during college, I was using something. I was like getting all these like weird lumps. I was like, hope it's not like, something serious. But then it just turned out it was this crappy deodorant, and I switched to right guard or something else. So could have been that situation where, hey, look, during the game he said, yeah, look, I feel better, I could throw, I'm loose, and then he convinced Boone, and Boone put him in there. So that's the story we got. But now we're hearing that he had to voluntarily just go up to Cashman and report alcohol abuse problem he's been having. I guess he's, I don't know, just battling this quietly. And I guess this is getting to a point, though, he can't effectively live his life and play baseball and go through this. So he's, on the restricted list. He's going to check into some program. And we've seen this before. You go back with CC Sabathia back in 2015. He had that incident, that ugly incident where I think it was in some Toronto nightclub. He had to be carried out by a bunch of people. He looked like he almost got into a fight. And then we learned that, just shortly after that, there was some incident at home where there might have been a domestic situation with the family. And then after that, CC finally checked himself into the rehab. Was unavailable for the rest of the 2015 season. That's where the Yankees got wiped out by that one game against Houston at home against Dallas Keuchel. And then when CC came back in 2016 and the years after that, he kind of reinvented himself and had a little renaissance to his career there. So I guess, CC was able to use that to turn the corner in his life. Now with Germán, we've seen some problems with him because, he had his own domestic dispute situation. Looks like there was violence involved. That's why he was suspended, for the rest of 2019 through 2020 into 2021. 80-game suspension there. Then, of course, had an incident while he was on suspension in the Dominican Republic. As far as we know, involved in a car that tipped over. Now, I'm not sure if he was driving, a passenger, but so you have that bizarre situation. So you take that with the domestic abuse situation, and seeing Germán's got a little bit demons there with the alcohol, and I guess good for him to get this done, get taken care of. But kind of a weird season for Germán. He had the perfect game. Up and down as a start a little bit. I'll say a little bit more positive than negative. But at this point, goodbye for Domingo Germán. But then again, right around the corner, you have Nestor Cortes seemingly slated to pitch one of these weekend's games against Houston Astros. So kind of coming back in time. There was some whispers that maybe Severino is going to lose his spot in the rotation just because he's been ineffective lately. But probably now this means that Severino stays in at least maybe for one or two more starts. And now you have Nestor Cortes coming around the corner. And right after him, looks like Lugo Wise is just about ready. His latest rehab symptoms are going pretty well. No setbacks, so it looks like he's going to be in there. But the big thing at hand, we don't know what that first game was with Germán. Was it really the deodorant situation? Was it something to do with an alcohol? Was showing late to the game? I don't know. Or was it possibly that people didn't speculate that maybe Germán was going to be included in some sort of trade deal? So Cashman, I guess, wanted to hold him for a second. And I guess whatever deal was out there, maybe since that fell through, Cashman gave the wink from the luxury box or whatever that, all right, Germán says staying here. So then they put him out into the bullpen there. So speculative what's the real story there, we don't know. But nevertheless, Germán is finished for the season. I'm not going to say he's finished as a Yankee, but he's finished for the rest of the season. But more importantly, the Yankees just absolutely lifeless in those first two games against Tampa there, and just tells you everything you need to know. The only offense in that first game was a Jake Bauers solo home run. Other than that, the Yankees completely shut down. And same thing the second game. Rendon was sloppy, but it doesn't matter. The Yankee offense is dead. Now, they finally came alive. Wowee in the third game. You got a good start from Cole, who just continues to march on to possibly an American League Cy Young Award. Gave up a homer early, 2-run shot there, but from the rest of the way, locked in, gave the Yankees a strong start, and finally Yankee offense kicked in, which is what always happens, has to involve home runs. So you got a 2-run home run by Volpe, tied the game up at that point, and then Giancarlo Stanton with an opposite field 3-run home run, put the Yankees up 5-2. Later in the game, I liked what they did. They scratched a couple of runs on, a little aggressive base running, kind of a double steal there situation, also an opposite field single there, shockingly by Stanton. So Stanton with 2 big hits there, and the Yankees salvaged the last game 7-2. So, but it's the same deal as I told you. Again, if the Yankees score like 7 or 8 runs, it's usually because 2 or 3 people hit some home runs, and one of those home runs is the 3-run home run. Well, that's right off the bat. It's exactly how happened. Okay, only 2 people hit home runs, but you got the 3-run home run by Stanton. But again, no sustained rallies, no walks, and no stuff like that. It's just all the home run. And again, they don't hit the home runs, they don't score, they don't win. That's just the situation. If they could score 5 or 6 runs, usually the Yankee pitching and bullpen is good enough to close it out. So they salvaged this last game. I guess you breathe a little sigh of relief. Strong start by Cole, but now you got Houston coming in here for 4 games, and could really just bury the Yankees if the Yankees just wither, which I could see happening here. So this is going to be a tough series. And get 4 games against Houston, who, again, have no problem just usually wiping the mat with the Yankees. So let's see if the Yankees can make a stand. And in the weekend, again, one of those games is going to be started by Nestor Cortes, see his first game back. But for first game back, they're going to baby him, so maybe get 4 innings out of him. So even the game he pitches, it's going to be a bullpen game. Now, Rendon also pitches, I believe, the finale of that series And that would be a game if he really wants to impress again. He was good against the Mets. Okay, fine, great. But if he really wants to make his mark and really make his mark as a Yankee, if he could really have a strong start, if the Yankees somehow could salvage having a series against these Astros with him having a strong performance to close it out, I think that goes a long way with everyone. So that's the episode. Yankees with a dud of a trade deadline, a dud of a series against Tampa. Got the drama there with Domingo Germán and the alcohol situation. So mostly negative for the Yankees, but it finally looks like the team will be fully intact by this weekend with Nestor Cortez come back. And again, you have 2 full months to, control your own fate. So let's see what happens. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done it already, and check out the YouTube episode. Again, it just came out. So yeah, go on YouTube, the latest YouTube episode there, and I'll do a deeper dive into the whole trade situation and get into cash in his brain. So a lot of good stuff. Catch you in the next one.